Thanks for joining us today at Unstuck Your Business Podcast.
You went into business with excitement and passion to show the world what you can do to contribute into our society and into our economic ecosystem.
But a couple of years into the business and your drive and motivation has dwindled, and now you feel stuck.
When you find yourself at this crossroads of thoughts and emotions, how do you deal with it?
We are your hosts, Inez Nazario Vega from Business Essentials Virtual Assistant
and Edith Duran from Reason Marketing.
Are you feeling stuck in your business? Maybe you're facing limiting beliefs or self-doubt that's hindering your growth. The truth is, your mindset plays a huge role in your success. Today, we're going to explore how a mindset coach can be the key to unlocking your full potential and achieving lasting results.
Joining us today is a powerhouse in the transformation coaching world, Gigi Santiago. Gigi is a sought-after speaker and coach who helps individuals, entrepreneurs, and leaders cultivate an optimal mindset for business. She empowers them to establish practices that lead to a healthy work-life balance and achieve their goals. Gigi, welcome to the show. Would you tell us more about yourself, please?
Sure. As Edith said, I'm Gigi Santiago, and I am executive life coach who works with overthinking entrepreneurs to take action in their business. Background, I'm married to my college sweetheart. We have 5 adult children, 4 grandchildren whom we're really enjoying. And part of who I am has always been that person that people have sought out to ask questions or advice from, even when I didn't even know what the reply would be. And so I'm a lifelong learner, something I learned from my mother, who's a perpetual student. And I realized that I needed to learn a little bit more of how to listen to people, to either give them advice or at least say, I don't know how to help you. And so that led me to investigating and researching. And I help overthinking entrepreneurs because I'm an overthinker. So it helps to understand where people are coming from. And so because of that overthinking, I've worked really well with people who get stuck in their business because they can't take action because they're so busy analyzing everything. Paralysis through analysis, right? And so I love helping those type of entrepreneurs to get away from the habits that they've created and to step into their future self.
I like the fact that you use the word overthinking because I think a large part of our population, that's what keeps them from moving forward in everything, and not necessarily only in business. I think for everything. And I myself, I could be overthinker for some things and impulsive for others. You know, and Edith can testify to this because when we started this podcast, Edith is more the overthinker. She's like, we were just kind of hesitating. I was like, let's just do it.
Yes.
But in other areas of my life, in my personal life, I can be an overthinker. In my relationship, sometimes I can be an overthinker. And I like that you use that word, that you are coaching overthinkers, because I really, truly believe if not 90 to 99% of our population, at some point, they get stuck because they're overthinking.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
I have to attest to that as well. I mean, as Inez just explained, even getting this podcast started, I kept, hesitating and pushing it off because I thought, do we have our logo right? Do we have enough guests? Do I have the right microphone? Like any situation I can think of. But one of the things that it makes me also think of is a while back I read a book called Barking Up the Wrong Tree, and it's all about success myths. And one that stands out to me is the myth that academics and people that have done well in academics are going to be more successful. And that has been squashed because what we found out is that they are the overthinkers. They need and see, and I feel like I'm right there. I did well in school. I liked the structure. And so in the entrepreneur world, you have to create it yourself. So definitely what do they call it? A quicksand of getting stuck in the same spot.
Yes.
But
Yes.
that's what we're taught, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
we're taught that we have to have a certain degree to be successful. We have to go to college. We have to do all of these things that society is telling us to do. And then when we achieve all of that, we've done everything we're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the success that we were promised, whether it's societal promise or an unconscious thought promise or familiar promise, whatever it is, doesn't come through, then that's where that self-doubt comes in and the overthinking. Oh, well, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? I mean, Facebook does that all the time. If you could, and of course, Facebook is all truth. What would you tell your younger self, if what you know now, what would you tell them to do? And it's like, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Gigi, and that's a good point, that this is a what is going through our minds. And at some point as a business owner, that, okay, I need to reach out to someone. How do you know, like, if you should be reaching out to a mindset coach, like what you do, versus a mentor, versus a therapist, or all three?
Well, if there's trauma from childhood, and that can be seen as all different things. It could be traumatic for certain personalities to not get that approval from their parents, right? Or a parent. That could be traumatic, and that can cause them to pause. Their life pauses. So that a therapist is a good person for that. Someone to counsel them, to unpack the past. A mentor should be someone who is a few degrees above you. And not saying that there are levels, but there are. And it's kind of an oxymoron, right? We're in America, we're all equal, but there are people levels of success that we admire. So, I mean, I wouldn't go to Tony Robbins because he's been doing this for, ever, as a mentor, because he's sky high up there. I need somebody that's going to mentor me that's maybe 5 levels above me. Okay, so you've done all of the things that I am trying to do. You have a membership. You have a podcast. You are, in the numbers that I want. You're in the 7-figure number at a level that I know that is attainable for me for the next 3 years. And looking at it that way, then that mentor, that person that can advise you and let you know what it is that you should be doing. Now, a coach comes in, and all of those can work together. We all, it's not one or the other. They all should be working together because each individual should be holistically looked at. A coach, a mindset coach, should be able to help that person get unstuck. Okay, you admire this person for these reasons. What are your 3-year goals? Where do you want to be in 3 years' time? And help them to visualize that, because the brain, which I find fascinating, the brain doesn't know what is the present or the future. So when visualizing, which is a mindfulness technique, which is something I do with my clients, it's about putting yourself in that 3-year, 5-year time. So in 3 years' time, what do you see your income? Okay. Where are you living? What does it smell like? What does it feel like? Do you have, plush rugs, or are you hardwood floor? What are you what are you wearing? How does that feel on your skin? What are you eating? What sounds are you hearing? Are you in the mountains? Are you in the city? Are you in, by the ocean? What are all those things? And it brings in most of the senses. Can't say all, because that tangible piece, that touch piece, sometimes is out of our limits. But what does it sound like? What does it smell like? What does it look like? What are you looking at when you see your future?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
If we can't visualize it, our brain is not going to get it. Our brain does not think in the negative either. If he says, I don't want to be in debt, our brain is going, yeah. It just doesn't know. And again, it doesn't know the past. It doesn't know, yes, it's traumatized by the past, but it doesn't get stuck there. And it doesn't know what your future is. It's just whatever you have in your mind. That's why vision boards are so for many people, because I am looking at my future, but you know what? My brain doesn't know that. That's where I'm going to live. I think John Astra, he said that he did a vision board and he cut out a house and he put it in the middle of the vision board. And about maybe 2-3 years later, really quickly after he had set his mind to succeed, he was living in that house and he didn't realize it.
Wow. That's incredible.
So that's how powerful the brain is.
Yes, yes. A quick question about that, about visualizing and really connecting the feeling, the emotion to the goal, to the vision. In your opinion, because I think that's one of the areas that I personally have struggled. I do meditation, I do visualization, but sometimes I'm so bombarded with my day-to-day things that it tends to attack and to get into my brain when I'm trying to just do my visualization. Is there a technique or something where one can shift that quickly and stay in the zone of visualization?
Well, when you visualize it, you have to believe it, right? So a piece that I do with my clients is, are the tasks that you're so busy in right now, is that leading to your future self? Because we get busy during the day, but is it helping me become the person that I know I can be? In the spiritual aspect, in Judeo-Christian, it's called the more, right? I'm reaching towards the more. I'm reaching, yes, it could be to be closer to God, who is my source, my universe, right? But the more is being that better person, being that future self. So if you believe totally that in your visualizations, and that's why you need to see it, not only see it, smell it, touch it. What is it? Imagine what touching it would be like. My visualization always includes me looking out, and I'm looking at the ocean and the horizon. The clothes I feel are linen, are cotton, kind of scratchy linen, right? They kind of get really wrinkled bad. So of course I won't be doing my own laundry, but pieces. What am I eating? Am I eating fresh fruit? What are the cocktails I'm drinking? Am I drinking cocktails? Am I having water? What does the water feel like when I drink it? Is it cool? Is it iced? What am I sitting on? Am I sitting on a comfy lounge with my feet up? Or am I sitting on a rattan cushioned chair? What do I hear? Do I hear the waves? Do I hear seagulls? Do I hear the wind? So what is it? It needs to be almost that tangible piece of it, so that when we see a sunset, right? That our vision board has a sunset on it. That's what I'm going to see. And my brain's going to get me there. My mind is going to get me there. My mindset is going to work so that is what I am. That is where my future self is. And I'd like to meet her.
Awesome. I like the way you described it, the way to go down and really connect all the dots there.
Right. And it takes a little bit more than 10 minutes. That's
I was going to ask that question. That was
20 to 30 minute exercise. Yeah. Until you really believe it. Because once you really believe it, once your mindset is there, 10 minutes you're there. And you're
Mhm.
drinking your margarita or your pina colada, and you can
Mhm.
taste it going down your throat, and the relaxation you feel when you're visualizing where you want to be.
Mhm.
That's
You know,
beautiful.
something I think of often, especially as entrepreneurs, you know, the experience of being an entrepreneur is so trial and error, you know, and every error that you come across totally squashes all of the wins that we have. It's like we don't even see them. So, you know, and I have gotten a lot better over time about doing the visualization, just like you just described, of what am I going to eat in the morning? What is my day going to look like? But I'll admit that when I try to visualize the successful business that I'm running with the team that I want and the culture that I would love to be able to cultivate. That's very challenging. So I mean, and I'm curious, like, is that a challenge that you see often in working with business owners that, you know, maybe and maybe it's a self-confidence sort of thing because like I said, we're it's all trial and error. We haven't really done this before unless we failed, and then that's when we've learned.
Well, and part of it is that you have to be very clear.
Yeah.
You have to have those clear goals. So when you're thinking about a team and who you want on that team, do they align with your purpose? Do they
Mhm.
align with your business structure? Because you may have wonderful employees or people that you're networking with, but it might be a subconscious thing that they don't exactly align with my purpose and where I want to go. Family members are great like that. They can really
Mhm.
squelch anything, right? Um,
Yes.
who knows,
Yes.
uh, oh yeah, well, I want to be a coach. Hell's a coach, excuse my language. You can cut that out. Um, you know, what is that? Why do I want to be a life coach? How can you coach someone in life? And I'm like, it's not exactly that. It's one of those perspectives where, they don't think there's anything wrong, and I could coach them if they let me, but they don't.
Mhm.
So, it again, it's a mindset. So family tends that. Why do you want to be a business owner? I remember when my husband and I um decided we were going to move to Florida and buy a house. The first thing my mother-in-law said, because she's always lived in apartments and nothing against her, is, well, you're going to be a slave to the house. You're going to have to cut the grass. You're going to have to do this. Here, you just call maintenance and it's going to be fine. And of course, my husband grew up in that setting, so he didn't have any skills in terms of that. But he learned. But
Yeah.
again, why would you squelch somebody's dream of doing
Mhm.
something when
Mhm.
they think they can? Then let's help them. So family sometimes can be a Debbie Downers. Also, people around you that you would love to work with, but
Mhm.
they're just not aligning. So when you have a clear vision in your head of where you want to go, then those goals will be set up for you. And then each of those goals become a project because there might be goals within those goals.
Mhm.
Because the big picture is not, oh, great, I'm going to get there. And then all of a sudden we're there. We have to work at it. And,
Mhm.
but there's a joy in working for something for yourself, in
Mhm.
Yes.
Right.
building your brand, in owning a
Mhm.
business, because you can dictate what the culture is going to be. You're just not responding or reacting to what's thrown at you. And
Mhm.
so, and in terms of that, Edith, what you said is, my acronym for failure is first attempt in learning until results evolve. I'm sorry, until
Mm.
the results emerge. And so
Right.
what happens is every time we fail at something, for me, it's a lesson.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And so, okay, so maybe I need to tweak how I'm going to do that. And again, it's the first time I'm trying that, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
until I get the results that I have been seeking, or more times than not, I get better results than what I thought I could do because I've limited myself to this.
Mhm. So that's really good. I like that. First attempt in learning until I get results, right?
Until results emerge.
Until results emerge. I like
Emerge.
that.
That. I love that.
Oh yeah, that hit a core there for me.
Yeah.
Well, people think,
Right.
and I follow coaches out there and stuff like that, and some of the newer coaches, because it is a big business,
Mm-hmm.
they make these promises and yet not very clear on, there's work to be done. You can be where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
You can have this, but there's work to be done. And again, if you're aligned, if you know your purpose, if you're aware of what pushes you or what makes you get up in the morning, because this is where I want to be, right? My
Mm-hmm.
future self, then yeah, I'm going to work at it, because you know what? I know I can get there,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
even if it's to prove it to yourself.
And
Yes,
the
yes.
and Gigi, in what stage of your business do you feel like a business owner would gain the most benefit out of working with a mindset coach specifically?
Um, so I feel that most times, if you've been in business a year and you're not seeing any traction,
Mm-hmm.
or you're making small wins, but you know that there's more, but you feel stuck, really. And when you feel stuck, because you're trying the same thing over and over and over again, and the results just aren't coming.
Mm-hmm.
Launching a product and nothing happens. Well, let me launch it again in 3 months
Mm-hmm.
and do the same exact thing, or changing up some stuff, and there's no traction to it. That
Mm-hmm.
would be a good time to sit with a mindset coach, with an executive coach, um, that's going to allow you to unpack all of that. All right, you did this. Well, it sounds like you followed, what everyone says you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you feel you need to do differently? Or let's look at this. Why is this not getting traction? It could be the audience just not speaking their language. So
Mm-hmm.
again, the research that belongs with
Messaging.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And that happens a lot. We have an idea, we think it's fabulous, and then cricket.
Right.
Just everyone responding to it is like, well, what did I say? It may not be the right audience. Sometimes we
Mm-hmm.
get so in love with the idea of what we're doing that we're not speaking to the right people. We're
Mm-hmm.
not in the right venues.
Mm-hmm.
And so a mindset coach would be able to, or an executive life coach would be able to help you step back from that. Okay, what do you love about this? What's so great about this? Are you sure that's the audience you need and want? That
Yes.
Mm.
sounds like a heart project.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
you need a money project to pay for the heart project.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I like
true.
How
that.
can we get that money project
Uh-huh.
out there to the right audience, so that then you can do this as
Mm-hmm.
your nonprofit, or you can do this as your heart-centered piece?
Mhm.
Mm.
I do have a question, Gigi, because you know, I, the business I have right now is not my first rodeo. I literally have built businesses from the ground up 4 times. Um, 2 times very successfully. The third time I lost a lot of money. It was horrible. Then I came back and set up this business that I have right now. But how would a mentor, or I mean a coach, a mindset coach, help an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur like myself,
Mm-hmm.
overcome that that fear of failure again, that fear of uh, not making it through? When you do have both, I mean, I've had very successful businesses
Mm-hmm.
in my portfolio, and then I had businesses that had completely run to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how can a mindset coach help an entrepreneur like that?
Um, that's a really good question. A mindset coach can help you with some tactics, some tools to be able to get out of your way and not be stuck in that failure piece. Because obviously you were successful. And, I think sometimes people forget that, business is cyclical, right? What works at one time may not work for a different generation? How do we speak to people? The joke about the car salesman, right? The used car salesman that, oh God, let's avoid him. But there's some people that use that tactic and they think that it's perfectly okay. For me, no, don't hard sell me. I'm an educated adult. I can make that decision for myself. Thank you very much. Give me the information and I will get back to you. But if you keep pushing for me, again, I can only speak for myself. If you keep pushing at me, it's like, oh no, no, because it's for me. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't align with who I am. So obviously, you have good instincts for business because you have been successful. And the failures, what did you learn from it? And mindset coach, a good mindset coach, will allow you to unpack that failure, but now, okay, so now where are the clear goals that you're going to? What do you want to do later in life? Do you want to have a business? Or would you like to retire somewhere? Some of us aren't made for retiring. I would be bored out of my mind. I can't sit around the house and eat bonbons. I just can't. Wouldn't help my hips, but either I just, because I'm a reader and I love being talking to people and meeting new people. So again, where do you see yourself? Not only personally, but you have to look at that as well. Professionally, do you see yourself as a speaker? Do you see yourself as a trainer? Do you see yourself as an entrepreneurial coach? Somebody that's going to give that advice because that's your background, right? As succeeding in various businesses. So there's a whole wealth of things you can do. Then that coach is going to help you align with who you are, who you want to be, more importantly, so that your future self and whatever you're doing, that's going to make you complete because it's mind, body, and soul. And don't have all three, for women especially, it don't work. It just doesn't work.
And I think it's important to point that out. I'm glad that you brought that up, the whole mind, body, and soul, because it does all work together. And one thing I've noticed, especially post-pandemic, is some of the reason that maybe it feels like I'm either stuck or I don't want to say failing. It's just not, things aren't working the way they used to be, but it's also because my values have changed. What I find rewarding now wasn't what I found rewarding pre-pandemic. I really value my flexible schedule and going, doing my yoga and having time for friends and, these different things that I used to not put at the top of my list before. But then, of course, you say yes to one thing, that means you're saying no to others.
Exactly. And what's wrong with the word no?
Right.
What's wrong with the word no?
Yeah.
It's establishing boundaries. And I think that's part of self-care, is that there are some people, some places we just have to say no to. And for me, no does not mean no, it's written in stone. Sometimes it means not yet.
Correct.
Right now, I have to say no to this, but can you please speak to me in 6 months' time? Because I may be inundated in a big project.
Yes.
So again, it's okay to say no. I think, but I've experienced with my clients and myself and also watching my mother and my grandmother, because I was raised by them, where they feel like they can't say no.
Right.
And watch those people that don't respect that boundary. I'm telling you that right now, because those are the people that are not aligning and not respecting you enough to be able to say, I really need to really draw this line in the sand, because of the simple reason that for me right now, for my mental health, for my self-care, for my self-love, I need to say no. But again, it's a not yet, maybe. Or it's a no because, I don't want to work with that person. And that's okay to say. You don't have to say it to them, but never for yourself. Because again, we can make those boundaries, especially if we own our own businesses. And that goes for male or female, and I don't like using that terminology, men or women entrepreneurs. We sometimes just, it may be wonderfully financially, but your soul is cringing because you're just not aligning with this person, and there's something about them that just doesn't feel right. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say no, because you know what? You will be happier, and the financial rewards will come because you're working towards that.
Yes.
Doesn't have to be an immediate thing.
This has been really, really good, Gigi. I so appreciate you being in our podcast today. But for the sake of our time, because we like to keep our podcast to 30 minutes, if our audience didn't take anything else away from this amazing conversation we had with you, what would you say will be the main 3 takeaways from this discussion?
I work with my clients using an ACE framework. And ACE, the acronym ACE, means awareness. Be aware of who you want to become and your purpose, and align all of those together, mind, body, and spirit. And then commit to that vision. We talked about visualization. Commit to the vision of who you want to become and where you want to take your business. And then execute, and make sure that the plans that you put in place have systems and operations that are going to allow you to reach there. And remember, failure is not a bad thing. It's going to help towards your success.
Those are short but very important points: awareness, commitment, execution. You cannot have said it any better. So, Gigi,
I love your use of acronyms, Gigi. I think we want to make sure that we add those to our show notes too. Your acronym for failure, your ACE framework, and I feel like there was one more we may have, another gem we'll put in there.
Yes, and Gigi, where can the audience connect with you and learn about your programs and your services? Because I think this is very important for our audience to see where they can get the help when needed.
Well, thank you so much for having me as a guest. It's important, the work that you're doing as well, helping people to become unstuck in their business, to not think the same old way all the time. And I can be found at my website, optimalmindsetllc.com. I'm on Facebook, Optimal Mindset LLC, and Instagram, Optimal Mindset LLC. And on LinkedIn, I'm Gigi Santiago, and you'll see that you'll see my face.
You have it.
Yeah, we'll have the links to all your profiles and your website in our show notes. I would love to bring you back at some point, and I feel like we can definitely continue this conversation. You're so full of like we said, little gems and insight that's just like, I know I had at least 4 aha moments.
Yes, I did too. I actually did too. So thank you so much, Gigi. We appreciate you. We appreciate your time with us, and we hope to see you again soon, like Edith said.
Definitely, I would love that. Thank you.
If you're hearing this message, you've listened to the entire episode, and for that, we want to thank you. Let us know what you think about today's topic by leaving us a comment and a review of our podcast.
And if you found some value on the information shared in this podcast, please subscribe and share. And you can find us on our Facebook page, Unstuck Your Business, and join the conversation and engage with other entrepreneurs as together we help each other unstuck our business. Until next time.